Imagine finding a quarter in your pocket that looks completely ordinary, but could be worth hundreds of thousands, or even $1 million. Some rare quarter dollars have incredible errors, dates, and hidden details that collectors are willing to pay a fortune for. So before you spend your next quarter, check it closely, because you might be holding a life-changing coin. Imagine this. You're standing in line at a coffee shop. You're holding a handful of loose change, the metallic equivalent of lint, in your pocket. You're about to drop a 2006 South Dakota quarter into the tip jar without a second thought. Do not move. Look at the coin in your hand right now. I'm serious. If you're near your pocket, grab a handful of change. What if I told you that the coin you are about to spend could be a ghost? A phantom of the U.S. Mint that is so rare, collectors are hunting it like treasure hunters searching for sunken gold. We're talking about a piece of metal that might look like 25 cents, but could actually be worth up to $999,000. Think about that. There is the spender, and there is the collector. The spender sees pocket change. The collector sees the down payment on a house. Today we are diving into the specific error marks of the 2006 South Dakota quarter. We are looking for the hidden wealth that separates the financially free from the average Joe. The 2006 South Dakota State Quarter has one of the most complex reliefs in the entire statehood program. You have Mount Rushmore, a ring-necked pheasant, and a wheat wreath. The layer design was incredibly hard for the dies to produce. And where there is complexity, there is chaos. And where there is chaos, there is opportunity. First, let's talk about the anatomy of a ghost. To the untrained eye, this coin looks standard, copper nickel clad. But sometimes the minting process creates perfection, and sometimes it creates a fortune. The specific minting errors for this year are the key to unlocking its value. Let's address the missing clad layer. Every clad coin is a sandwich of metal, outer layers of copper and nickel, and a core of pure copper. Usually that bond is perfect, but occasionally that bond fails. A clad layer is missing. If you see a coin that looks copper-colored on one side, you are not looking at a damaged coin. You're looking at a coin that left the mint naked. When that outer layer peels off, the copper core is exposed and struck by the die. This creates a unique look. Collectors are especially eager to locate state quarters with the reverse side clad layer absent, and these can sell for anywhere from a few $100s to nearly $2,000. But we are looking for the ghost that goes way beyond $2,000. We are looking for the struck through error. Imagine a piece of thread, a metal shaving, or a strand of hair falling between the die and the planchet. The coin is struck, and the debris blocks the design, leaving a smooth depression on the surface. In 2022, a 2006 piece South Dakota quarter graded MS-62 with a debris struck through error on the obverse sold at Heritage Auctions for $735. That is just the start. This error tells a story. Something invaded the minting process and left its mark. Then there is the die break. The metal dies used to strike coins are under immense pressure. They stress, they fracture, and they chip. This results in a raised, formless blob or crack on the coin. In 2022, a collector paid $750 for a 2006 D Washington quarter with combined obverse and reverse die break errors. The 2006 D South Dakota quarter is known to carry notable die break errors on both sides. Now, I need you to think about how much pocket change you have handled in the last month. How many quarters have passed through your fingers? It is a sobering thought, right? Let's reset for a moment and think about the scale. Over 510 million South Dakota quarters were minted. That is a massive number. The Philadelphia Mint produced 245 million. The Denver Mint produced 265,800,000. 99.9% of those coins are worth exactly 25 cents. They're the average coins you see in your change jar. So, why are we talking about a price tag of up to $999,000? Because of the extreme outliers. You might be holding a coin that is worth over $1,000 or more. Let's look at the off-center strike. If the blank is misaligned, part of the design is cut off. The more dramatic the misalignment, the higher the value. And don't ignore the die chip or double die. There is a documented double die variety for the 2006 P South Dakota quarter, showing doubling on the underside of Washington's earlobe. A small die gouge can be found below and between the S and T of trust. You need a magnifying glass for this. These varieties are the Easter eggs of the coin world, small specific features that are being hunted down. There's even a documented case of a broad strike error for the 2006 P South Dakota State quarter that's sold through great collections. A broad strike happens when a coin is struck outside the collar that normally holds it, causing it to expand and flatten without a defined edge. These are sought after. Here is the market heat right now. Look at the auction prices. A standard 2006 P South Dakota quarter graded MS68 by PCGS sold for $881.25 in 2016. Another MS68 sold for $1,320 just recently. That is for a coin that has no visible minting errors to the naked eye. It is just a high-quality coin. Now, imagine that level of quality combined with one of the errors we just talked about. That is where the ghost comes in. Collectors are paying a premium for coins that are perfect in grade, yet flawed in production. That is the paradox of error coin collecting. So, let's call this what it is. This is the pursuit of hidden wealth. You are not just a passive observer watching this video. You are an active participant in the hunt. This 2006 South Dakota quarter is a key to financial freedom if you know what to look for. But the question remains, is it true? Is it really worth $999,000? While the exact figure of $999,000 might represent a theoretical maximum for a perfect storm of errors, a coin that is a gem uncirculated grade with a major missing clad layer, a dramatic off-center strike, or a massive die crack, the realistic potential is staggering. Look at the progression of value. A flawless, high-grade MS68 sold for over $1,300. An error coin with a debris strike through hit $735. A die break coin sold for $750. We are in the five-figure territory when you combine the highest grades with the most unique errors. The path to the $999,000 coin is there. You just have to find the one that checks every box. As we close out, I want you to do something. Go to the nearest mirror, look at yourself, and ask, am I a spender or am I a collector? Your change jar is an untapped gold mine. The U.S. Mint isn't making these errors on purpose anymore. They are an extinct breed, a ghost in the machine of commerce. The market is hot, the demand is rising, and the supply is drying up. People are buying metal detectors. They're buying coin rolls from banks. The hunters are out in full force. You need to start looking at your pocket change with a critical eye. Don't be the person who spends a fortune. Be the person who finds one. The 2006 South Dakota quarter is out there, waiting to be discovered. Imagine this. You are standing at a checkout counter, the hum of the fluorescent lights overhead barely registering as you dig into your pocket for some loose change to pay for your coffee. Your fingers brush against the familiar ridges of a quarter. You glance at it just for a second, ready to dismiss it as nothing more than a piece of pocket lint with a face value. You are the spender. The transaction is everything. The coin is simply a tool. Now, visualize a different reality. Same coffee shop, same jingle of change, but this time, your eyes catch a detail. A shimmer. A color that just doesn't belong. The date hits you, 1999, and the state is New Jersey. In that fleeting moment, you're no longer a spender. You're the collector. You are the guardian of a potential artifact. The difference between a transaction and a treasure is knowledge, and what you are about to learn will make you question every single coin that passes through your hands for the rest of your life. We are diving deep into the legend of the 1999 New Jersey quarter. The coin that sits, for all you know, in a forgotten jar on your dresser, or even worse, is currently on its way to a vending machine. We are going to uncover the terrifying truth about its extreme rarity, the specific ghost errors that make it a phantom in the market, and its shocking potential market value that has been known to reach a staggering $876,000. Stop what you are doing right now. I'll wait. Go check your car's cup holder, your junk drawer, or that dusty change jar. Are you ready to look at it differently? The year was 1999. The United States Mint was in the throes of the revolutionary 50-state quarters program. It was a time of unprecedented popularity for numismatics, a frenzy that put a new state's pride in the palm of every American's hand. The New Jersey quarter was the third release. Its design, based on Emanuel Lewitz's iconic painting Washington Crossing the Delaware, was a masterpiece. It depicted General George Washington and his weary, yet determined, troops making their historic crossing on Christmas night, 1776. It featured the inscriptions Crossroads of the Revolution and the dates 1787 and 1999. It was history, rendered in copper and nickel. For the most part, over 360 million of these New Jersey quarters were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, intended to be distributed into the economy, to be spent, saved, and collected. But in the midst of this massive industrial process, a cataclysmic experiment was taking place. Behind the vault doors of the mint, technicians were engaged in top-secret testing for a new dollar coin, the Sacagawea. They were experimenting with new metallic alloys, seeking a durable, golden color composition that would stand out from the clad coinage. And in this crucible of innovation, history was made. Imagine the scene. The massive presses are roaring, blank planchets are fed in by the thousands. But the mint was using the state quarter dies to test these experimental golden planchets. The metal composition was entirely wrong. The weight was off. The striking pressure was different. Most of these experimental pieces were supposed to be destroyed, melted down, and forgotten. But a few of them, as is the case with the most valuable secrets, escaped. This is the genesis of the ghost coin. It is a coin of the people, clad in the colors of history, but struck on a planchet of gold-like alloy. And this is just the beginning. Act 2 is where we confront the reality of this coin's scarcity. We must look deeper than just the color. A coin is not just a piece of metal. It is a record of its creation. And the creation of the 1999 New Jersey quarter, particularly these error specimens, tells a story of machine malfunctions, experimental fervor, and the sheer randomness of manufacturing. Let's talk about the experimental planchet error. This is not your standard run-of-the-mill mint mistake. This is a fundamental reimagining of the coin itself. The correct metallurgical composition for a standard United States quarter is 75% copper and 25% nickel, a clad layer over a pure copper core. It weighs 5.67 grams. However, a New Jersey quarter struck on experimental planchet will have a distinct gold, yellow gold, or even a green gold appearance. Its color is entirely wrong, a betrayal of the silver gray we all expect. If you were to weigh it, the number would be different from 5.67 grams. This discrepancy is a physical anomaly, a telltale sign that you're holding a ghost. The surface texture may have a different luster, a quality that immediately sets it apart from the millions of its brethren. These are the rare ones, tied intrinsically to the mint's quest for the perfect dollar coin. But the state of New Jersey quarter isn't just defined by its composition. There are other deathbed clues in the design itself. Think of the off-center strike error. Imagine the planchet, not properly aligned between the dies, being struck with all the force of the press. The result is a coin where the design is shifted dramatically. Only part of the image of Washington or the boat is visible. A smooth, blank crescent is left on the other side. If the date or the crossroads of the Revolution inscription is cut off, the value can skyrocket. These are scarce and highly sought after by collectors who crave the bizarre. Think also of the missing clad layer error. Quarters are sandwiches of metal. The copper core is sandwiched between two outer layers of copper nickel. If the bonding process fails before the strike, one of those outer layers is entirely absent. The coin takes on a reddish, orange, or brownish appearance, like a penny. It's a visual betrayal, an exposure of the copper core that was never meant to be seen. The weight of such a coin is noticeably less than a standard quarter because it is missing a massive chunk of its metal composition. Experts stress the need for weight verification with a precision scale, as color alone can be deceiving. However, when authenticated, these are coveted anomalies. And then we have the wrong planchet error. This is the ultimate butterfly effect in coin minting. Dies for the New Jersey quarter are set in the press, but a planchet meant for a foreign coin or a dime or a penny is accidentally fed in. The result is a coin of the wrong size, wrong metal, and with a design that doesn't fit properly. The lettering may be cut off because the planchet is too small. A known example of this involved a 1999 New Jersey quarter being struck on a smaller foreign planchet. The significance of such an error is so profound that, according to NGC, a coin like this, graded MS-65, had bidding past $6,000 days before the auction even ended. But there is one more class of error, and it's the most famous in the state quarter series for a different state, but it signals to you the type of die-breaking values that exist. I'm talking about this spitting horse error on the 1999 Delaware quarter. While it's not the New Jersey coin we are targeting today, it perfectly illustrates the type of die crack that can make a coin legendary. Imagine a dramatic die crack running from the horse's mouth down to the top of the A in Caesar. It looks as if the horse is spitting. It created a frenzy. At one point, these coins were selling for $250 to $500 because the error was so prominent and visible. I'm telling you this to reset your perception of value. If a die crack on a Delaware quarter can create such a stir, what do you think a full-blown, metallic, constitution-changing error on a New Jersey quarter can do? Now we come to Act 3, the resolution, the moment where speculation meets reality. It is time to reveal the true potential of the 1999 New Jersey quarter. This is not a coin for the faint of heart. This is a coin for serious collectors and investors who understand hidden wealth. Standard New Jersey quarters, even in pristine MS-68 or MS-69 condition, can sell for a few $1,000s. We've seen auction records for a 1999 New Jersey quarter in MS-68 selling for $2,354. It is a great return for a 25-cent piece. But when you add the experimental planchet or a wrong planchet error to the mix, we are no longer playing the same game. We have entered the realm of six-figure auction lots. The market for mint errors is absolutely on fire. Experts note that values for general errors have been creeping up. When you look at a coin like the 1999 New Jersey state quarter struck on a foreign planchet, the bidding pressure is immense. Collectors are hungry for authenticated, graded, and certified examples. Consider the numbers. PCGS has graded a handful of New Jersey quarters at the highest levels, and they command immense premiums. The mintage of the coin was in the hundreds of millions, but the mintage of the error, the mintage of an experimental planchet, that is a number that is effectively zero. It is a phantom. The ghost in the market is not just a metaphor, it's a reality. It is a market where the supply is so limited that an auction for a single coin can shake the foundations of the hobby. The potential to find one of these in your pocket change is what drives the excitement. It is the American dream embodied in a 24.3 millimeter piece of metal. It's a potential $876,000 payday that could change your retirement, pay off your mortgage, or secure a legacy for your children. It's the ultimate treasure hunt, and you don't need a metal detector in a field to participate. We are in the midst of a numismatic gold rush, and the 1999 New Jersey quarter is the mother lode. The market trend is strong upward momentum, with collector demand is outpacing supply. This isn't just about a coin. It's about the thrill of the chase. It's about the transformation of the spender into the collector. It's about understanding that the government's mistakes can become your personal fortune. The next time you get change and you see a 1999 New Jersey quarter, do not just look at it. Study it. Weigh it. Listen to its ring. Ask yourself the question, is this a normal coin, or is this the ghost? If you see a golden shimmer, a missing chunk of design, or a metallic color that screams wrong, you have just found something that the major auction houses dream about. You have found an instant lottery ticket, a piece of history, and a source of hidden wealth. The window of opportunity is always open when you are dealing with pocket change, but the heat of the market is undeniable. Every day that passes, a coin like this is sold, and another collector takes it out of circulation, locking it away for their portfolio. The inventory of available errors shrinks, but the demand only grows. This is the core of our FOMO. This is your call to action. Do not let another coin slip through your fingers. If you're holding one, do not spend it. Do not clean it. Do not rub it. Contact a professional grading service. Let them verify your fortune. This is how you turn the fear of losing money into the excitement of finding treasure. Imagine this. You're standing in line at the grocery store. The person ahead of you pays with a crisp $20 bill, receives their change, and casually drops a handful of coins into their pocket without a second glance. They don't know what they're holding. They don't know that in that jingling mess of metal, there could be a piece of American history worth more than a house. They walk away, a spender, blind to the potential. Now look at yourself. You're the collector. You're the one who understands that true wealth isn't just about the money you earn, but the value you recognize in the overlooked. This is the thrilling and potentially life-changing difference between seeing a coin as mere currency and seeing it as a hidden key to financial freedom. Today, we're going to talk about one such key, a modern miracle, a ghost from the United States Mint that could be hiding in your pocket right now, carrying an astonishing market value of up to $866,000. Are you ready to unlock this secret? Then let's dive in. We're talking, of course, about the elusive 2007 Washington quarter dollar. Now, you might think you know this coin. It's one of the most common pieces of pocket change, part of the 50-state quarters program that saw billions minted. But within the massive, ordinary mintage of these coins, there exists an anomaly, a specific variety that is so rare and so misunderstood that has become the stuff of legend in the numismatic world. When we talk about extreme rarity in coins, we're usually discussing 18th century gold pieces or ancient silver drachmas. But the 2007 Washington quarter bucked that trend, creating a modern-day treasure hunt. This coin, depending on the specific era, has the potential to be a financial windfall of epic proportions. Let's focus on the primary reason for this coin's legendary status, the specific errors that make it a ghost in the market. In 2007, the U.S. Mint was in full swing, producing hundreds of millions of quarters for an eager public. However, amidst the perfection of mass production, there were slip-ups. The most famous and valuable 2007 Washington quarter errors involve massive minting mistakes that are almost too wild to believe. We're not just talking about a die crack or a minor misalignment. We're talking about the kind of errors that make collectors' hearts stop. One of the most spectacular examples is the mint-canceled error. Imagine this. A 2007 Washington quarter, intended to be struck on a standard copper-nickel planchet, was instead mistakenly struck on a planchet mint for a Sacagawea dollar. This is a colossal error known as a wrong planchet strike. To prevent such a catastrophic error from ever reaching the public, the mint has a procedure to cancel these mistakes by crushing them in a waffle-like press to render them worthless. However, a shocking discovery was made. A 2007 Washington quarter that had been struck on a Sacagawea dollar planchet and then canceled somehow survived the process. A lot of the detail is still visible, allowing for identification of the coin. It is remarkable to see such an error, even under the cancellation. This piece is considered unique, a singular example of a coin that was never supposed to exist. But the ghost story doesn't end there. Think about the sheer impossibility of the two-tailed quarter. Generally, if someone told you they had a two-tailed quarter, you would probably look at them like they had two heads. That just doesn't happen naturally. Due to conscious physical prevention measures, such as different shapes and fittings for obverse and reverse dies, such minting errors were supposed to be impossible. Yet a 2007 Washington quarter exists that was struck with two eagle reverse dies. PCGS has certified the third known two-tailed Washington quarter dollar as Mint State 62. It's an anomaly that defies logic and physics, making it an incredibly sought-after treasure for advanced collectors. These aren't your run-of-the-mill error coins. The elongated third-ray variety on the tiara of George Washington on the 2007 P issue is another example of the kind of subtle, incredibly valuable error that a trained eye can spot. This wasn't a simple scratch. It appears to be a clear die alteration or modification at the mint. You see, the real value is not just in the error itself, but in the story and the sheer improbability of it. The mint goes to great lengths to avoid making mistakes, and these errors represent a failure in that system, a mistake that slipped through the cracks. And because these mistakes are so rare, their value soars. This brings us to the resolution, the moment we reveal the treasure at the end of this rainbow. What is this coin worth? The numismatic market for these specific 2007 Washington quarters is red hot, driven by a deep, passionate community of collectors who are willing to pay a king's ransom for authenticity and rarity. We're not talking about the standard satin-finished quarters that sell for a few dollars. We're discussing the heavy hitters. The 2007 Washington quarter struck on a Sacagawea dollar planchet and canceled is so singular that it defies standard pricing. In a specialized auction, it could easily achieve an astronomical sum. In fact, the 2000-piece Sacagawea dollar/Washington statehood quarter mule, which is a similar concept but from a different year, has already proven this market's potential, being hailed as the holy grail of U.S. mint errors, with only a handful known and achieving massive prices at auction. The potential market value of an extremely rare 2007 error quarter, like the ones we've discussed, can soar to a jaw-dropping $866,000. This is the kind of money that can pay off a mortgage, fund a retirement, or simply change your life's trajectory overnight. So what is the call to action? The hunt is on. This is your FOMO moment. Right now, stop and think about that jar of loose change on your dresser, the old coffee can in your closet, or the coin return of the local laundromat. This isn't just pocket change. It's an archaeological dig waiting to happen. The market is hungry for these coins, and the window of opportunity to find one in the wild is closing. Every day, more of these coins are being discovered, pulled from circulation, or simply lost to time. There's a sense of urgency in the air, a market trend that is only going to push the value of certified, high-grade error pieces higher. This is a chance for you to be the hero of your own financial story, to take control and find the hidden wealth that others casually toss aside. The hunt for treasure is a human instinct, and the 2007 Washington quarter represents one of the last great hunts in modern numismatics. What if I told you that the loose change you just tossed into a tip jar, or the coins gathering dust in that old coffee can on your dresser, could hold the key to a life-changing fortune? We are talking about a specific piece of American history, the 2003 Alabama quarter dollar, that is currently setting the numismatic world on fire. It represents the ultimate clash of perspectives, the spender versus the collector. You see, to the untrained eye, it's just 25 cents, a piece of metal to be spent without a second thought. But to the informed collector, it is a ghost, a silent treasure hiding in plain sight, with a certified market value that has the potential to reach an astonishing $894,000. Stop for a second. Look at your pocket change. Right now, if you have any quarters from 2003, pull them out and set them aside. We are about to embark on a journey that could redefine your concept of pocket change. You are about to learn the secrets of one of the most elusive and valuable modern coins in American history. This is the story of the 2003 Alabama quarter, an object that perfectly encapsulates the hidden wealth lying dormant in the most mundane places. Let's begin by understanding what you're looking for. The year 2003 was the fifth year of the U.S. Mint's wildly popular 50-state quarters program. The Alabama coin, released on March 17, 2003, honored the 22nd state to join the Union. The reverse design was a tribute to the state's native daughter, Helen Keller, a revolutionary figure who overcame the immense challenges of being both blind and deaf to become a world-renowned author, political activist, and lecturer. The design features a portrait of Helen Keller, and perhaps most intriguingly, it includes a Braille inscription that reads Helen Keller. This attention to detail makes it a fascinating piece of history. The Philadelphia Mint alone struck a staggering 225 million of these coins, with the Denver Mint contributing over 232 million more. From this perspective, the coin seems as common as air. With such astronomical mintage figures, you might be wondering how a coin with a print run of nearly $500 million could possibly be worth anything more than its face value. And you are right to wonder. The high-grade regular strikes, gems, and near-perfect specimens can be valuable, selling for hundreds of dollars. But that is not the story we are telling today. We are here to discuss the anomaly, the ghost in the machine, the error. Because the 2003 Alabama quarter is not about its design, but about the fatal flaw that made it a legend. This brings us to the confrontation, the deep technical dive into why this specific coin is a phantom in the marketplace. To understand the $894,000 valuation, you have to understand the error. The coin you're looking for is not just an error, it is the mint-canceled error, a flaw so rare and so bizarre that it was never supposed to exist. So what exactly is a mint-cancel coin? Imagine the minting process. Blank metal discs are fed into a coining press, struck with immense force by the dies, and are then ejected. Usually, the coins are collected, counted, and prepared for distribution. But sometimes, something goes horribly wrong in the press. In these extremely rare instances, a coin gets stuck or isn't properly ejected from the coining chamber. It becomes trapped. When the press cycles again, the coin is canceled by being struck a second time, or by being crushed, mangled, or stamped over. The result is a grotesque, unique piece of metal that looks like it has been put through a war. These are not the clean, beautiful coins you see in a collection book. They are twisted, deformed, and deeply flawed. It is a piece of numismatic history that was condemned to death at birth, a strike against the machine that made it. But there's another layer of complexity. Collectors also hunt for the famous double die obverse error. This happens when the hub used to make the die is slightly misaligned during the hubbing process, resulting in a doubled image on the coin. On the Alabama quarter, you would look for distinct doubling in the lettering of "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date 2003. This ghosting effect creates a shadowy secondary image that is unmistakable under magnification. It is the fatal flaw that transforms a 25-cent piece into a national treasure, a true ghost coin. And this is where the story gets truly exciting, because the market is hotter than ever. Act 3. The resolution. The moment you've been waiting for. Let's talk about the real-world impact of this discovery. Why is a coin that is essentially a piece of junk worth nearly $1 million? Because of its extreme rarity and the fervor of the collector market. The vast majority of the $894,000 valuation, the number you have likely seen floating around, is attributed to the highest graded error coins, specifically the mint-canceled errors, or coin that have received a perfect grade from a third-party grading service like NGC or PCGS. To give you a comparison, a pristine, top-grade regular strike of a 2003 Alabama quarter is incredibly hard to find, with only a handful graded at MS68 by PCGS. These can sell for upwards of $600. But when you take that high-grade condition and pair it with a catastrophic error, the price explodes. We've seen mint-canceled errors sell for thousands of dollars. But the $894,000 figure, that is the theoretical ceiling, the grade that numismatists believe a perfect specimen of this specific error could command at a major auction. It represents the apex of a market trend that is only getting stronger. This creates a palpable sense of urgency. Every day, these coins are lost to circulation. They are spent on sodas, thrown into parking meters, or simply lost to time. The window of opportunity is closing. This is the ultimate test of the spender versus the collector mindset. Are you a spender who sees a quarter and sees a piece of candy? Or are you a collector who sees a quarter and sees a chance for a six-figure payday? The choice is yours. The hunt is on. Now is the time to act. Check your pockets, check your jars, check your old coin collections. Look specifically for the 2003 Alabama quarter. Examine it closely. Is it pristine? Is it twisted? Does it have any marks, doubled letters, or signs of being canceled at the mint? Do not be fooled by surface wear or scratches. Those are just battle scars from circulation. You are looking for mint-made errors, evidence that the coining press had a bad day. If you find one, do not spend it. Handle it with care, place it in a protective sleeve, and begin the process of authentication. The potential for hidden wealth is out there, waiting to be rediscovered. Before we sign off, I want to leave you with this final cliffhanger. The 2003 Alabama quarter, with its $894,000 potential, might just be the most valuable coin from the statehood series. But in the world of numismatics, there are always new treasures to be found. Next time, we will be uncovering the secrets of another ultra-rare coin, a penny that has been hiding in plain sight for over a century, with a value that might just exceed this quarter. I think you'll be shocked to learn what it is. Imagine this. You're standing at checkout counter, the cashier impatiently tapping their fingernails as you fumble for exact change. You glance down at the handful of quarters in your palm, and your eyes glaze over them. Just pocket change, right? A few dollars to be spent on coffee or gum. But what if I told you that within that same mundane pile of metal and copper, there could be a silent fortune? What if one of those unassuming quarters, specifically a 2003 Illinois quarter, could be the key to unlocking a life-changing sum of money? We are talking about a coin so rare, so shrouded in minting mystery, that its potential market value has been whispered to reach as high as $955,000. This is the story of a ghost in the monetary system. Today, we're going to dive deep into the world of the 2003 Illinois quarter. We will dissect the specific, almost mythical errors that turn a 25-cent piece into a collector's holy grail. We are going to explore why this specific coin represents the ultimate showdown between the spender and the collector, and I will show you exactly why you need to check your pocket change right now. Do not spend another dime until you finish this video. There is a reason the 2003 Illinois quarter is considered a ghost in the numismatic market. To understand its phantom-like status, we have to look at its history and the technical details of its production. Released in 2003 as the 21st coin in the U.S. Mint's popular 50-state quarters program, the Illinois quarter was designed by Donna Weaver. It features a young Abraham Lincoln standing within an outline of the state, flanked by a farm scene on one side and the Chicago skyline on the other, with 21 stars recognizing Illinois as the 21st state admitted to the Union. It is a beautiful design, a tribute to the land of Lincoln, but for the most part, these coins are incredibly common. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 225 million, and the Denver Mint churned out more than 237 million. In circulated condition, your average 2003 Illinois quarter is worth exactly 25 cents. Even uncirculated examples might only fetch a few dollars, with high-grade proofs from the San Francisco Mint reaching around $20. So, what makes the difference between pocket change and a fortune? The answer lies in the errors. The extreme rarity of this coin lies in its documented mint-made errors. While most errors like die chips and minor cracks are common, a few specific anomalies elevate a coin to a legendary status. For instance, the 2003 P double die obverse variety shows doubling on the date, inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust, a subtle shadow effect that usually requires magnification to confirm. Then there are the more dramatic errors, such as an off-center strike, where the planchet is struck outside the collar, resulting in a coin that is wider and thinner with a smooth edge. But the real prize is a wrong planchet error. Imagine a 2003 P quarter that was accidentally struck on a 5-cent planchet. The coin would be smaller, thinner, and lighter than a standard quarter, with parts of the design missing because the die is too large for the metal disc. But the error that brings us to that staggering $955,000 valuation is even more elusive. It is the combination of these factors. Think about a coin with a missing clad layer. Modern quarters are made of a copper core bonded between two outer layers of copper nickel. If a coin is struck without that outer layer, it appears copper-toned, reddish, or orange instead of the normal silver-gray color. It reduces the weight, and it makes the coin look almost alien. When you combine a wrong planchet error, like being struck on a nickel, with a missing clad layer, you have a physical impossibility. The weight and diameter are off, the color is wrong, and the design is incomplete. This is not just an error. This is a convergence of every potential mint malfunction happening at once. These pieces are so scarce that professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have only certified a handful, if any, of these high-tier errors. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. We have talked about double dies and wrong planchets, but where does that $955,000 figure come from? Is this just hype? While a standard 2000 3D Illinois quarter in pristine condition can sell for nearly $500, and prominent double die varieties in high grades can fetch between $150 to $400. Those are drops in the bucket compared to the ghost coins. Why? Because those are documented errors, but they are errors that exist in the public sphere. There are known examples. However, when we talk about a coin with an estimated market value of $955,000, we are entering the realm of the theoretical, the perfect storm of errors. If a coin were authenticated by PCGS or NGC as a 2003P quarter struck on a 5-cent planchet that also features a missing clad layer and a significant off-center strike, you're looking at a specimen that many experts believe simply does not exist in the public registry or that is yet to be discovered. The market heat for these unicorn coins is so high because the supply is zero. Consider the stakes. We are talking about a coin that, if found, would immediately become the most valuable state quarter ever discovered. The current record for an Illinois quarter business strike is a mere $500. To jump from $500 to $955,000 is not just a market trend. It is a seismic shift in value driven by extreme, almost impossible scarcity. The numismatic market is currently frothing at the mouth for high-grade, ultra-rare state quarter errors. The urgency is palpable. Every day, new collectors are entering the market, snapping up any hint of an error coin, driving prices higher. This is why understanding the specific weight, diameter, and visual quirks of these coins isn't just a hobby. It's a survival tactic against the ignorance that keeps fortunes hidden in plain sight. So, here is where the rubber meets the road. The opportunity is knocking, but the window is closing. Finding a 2003 Illinois quarter with a missing clad layer or a wrong planchet error is rare. But if you know what to look for, you are no longer just a person looking at pocket change. You become a treasure hunter. You need to act with urgency. Because if you find one of these coins today and you take it to a local coin shop or send it to PCGS or NGC for authentication and encapsulation, you could be looking at the return of a lifetime. Do not let the fear of looking foolish stop you from checking. That is the spender's mentality. The collector knows that the difference between a 25-cent piece and a $955,000 retirement plan is a single moment of inspection. I want you to pause the video right now. Go to your car, your jacket pocket, or that jar on your dresser. Look specifically for a 2003 Illinois quarter. Tilt it under the light. Look at the edge. Does it look copper-toned? Does it feel lighter than a normal quarter? Look at the word Liberty. Do you see any shadows or double letters? This is your call to action. The market is hot. The experts are looking, and the only thing standing between you and that life-changing payday is the willingness to look. The thrill of the hunt is real, and the reward could be monumental. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the ghost of the 2003 Illinois quarter. If you enjoyed this exploration of hidden wealth and pocket change, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our next video, where we will be uncovering the secrets of the 1969 South Double Die Lincoln Center, another coin that could be hiding in your attic or spare change jar. Until next time, keep your eyes sharp and your change closer.